Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. We are here again with Dan from Wild Siberia. Welcome back, Dan. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and we're back. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Working Brothers always here to talk about very interesting topics with people from Russia or about Russia. Um, so yeah, tell me. One of the things that we've got lined up today that you wanted to talk about was more about like your military, let's say, experience and my touch with the civilian population in the Donbass and how that crosses over with your military experience. So why don't you remind some of the people, or maybe people just clicked on this video, didn't see the one before. Tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from, and whatnot, and what you see as a coming issue in the near future.
Yes, basically, from Southern California. I'm a military veteran from the United States Marine Corps. I'm a sapper, combat engineer. My job is to look for landmines. And well, tying with what we were talking about earlier, what I see coming in the future as far as what's going to happen in Ukraine, like that problem that I said about
Yeah.
landmines. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, considering you are a sapper, yeah, that's
yeah. I just see that the overuse of landmines in that area and making it impossible for civilians to live their life, it's something that really bothers me. And you yourself have been there and you've seen how people live in fear. And honestly, it's something that it's near and dear to my heart because I know psychologically how it affects humans and to the next generation. So
you were saying you did
mostly,
three tours?
yeah,
Yeah, so like
uh,
let's say you've lived under it for about 3 years, a little less. I was there
yeah.
for a
So two
week.
years, going into 2 years.
Yeah, I was there
But,
for like
but
a
by
week,
this, by what I
and
want to
and
say
I
is
can
that
say
for
that it
me,
left
I
like
learned.
it left an impact on my psyche. So I can imagine like yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted just to say that by like staying, the longer you stay in war, and if your job is to look for landmines, you really learn that your job is not to take life, it's to conserve it. And when you
Mhm.
find landmines, whether it be uh, close to your area of operations or far, you know that little kids can walk, even young Afghan kids. And I saw kids with losing limbs. So it
Mhm.
really affected me in my heart when I came back. I said, that war I fought, it wasn't just for America, it was also for the people of Afghanistan who had no part in this war. But because we were there, the Taliban would plant IEDs, and it kind of really messed me up, man. I hate people
Yeah.
who plant landmines.
Yeah, landmines are not fun. Like my experience, I went there and like I mentioned earlier to like in other videos, um, at first, like as soon as I got there, Texas, who was taking me around, I told him like when we go somewhere where they've been sprayed or planted, I should say, whatever, let me know so I know to keep an eye out, or like to just walk on the concrete, not on the grass, you know. And then I got back to Serbia, and you have the same experience with like trying to avoid the dog poo on the sidewalks, but the consequences are very different. Let's put it that way. And like like every time that I like misstep in order to like not step on poo here in the city, I'm thrown back into the like psychological state of looking for mines under your feet, and it's not fun. And I only lived it for like 10 days. I can only imagine what you're talking about, what you've seen and served, and also what uh, what the people of Donbass and all of the people of Ukraine will be going through in the coming years if we take your prediction or observation into account. Yeah.
Yeah, my fear, like I said, my fear is that no, and I'm speaking from a neutral standpoint.
Mhm.
My fear is that they will overmine this country as the conflict continues, and no side will be safe. Not Ukrainians, not Russians now living, not Ukrainians living in the future Russia. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
that
yeah.
because this is the reality. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Politically speaking, yeah, it's become a part of Russia, but like de facto, let's put it that way, and de jure, technically.
yeah,
um, but the point is, yeah, like the civilian life. I hadn't run into anyone who was, let's say, directly affected by mines or injured, I should say. But and I brought up the topic only with like let's say closer friends or and like other journalists, and they told me that like it's a ever present thing. Like you're always aware of which neighborhoods have been because for people who don't know these pedal mines that they're Soviet made mines that were outlawed and were supposed to be destroyed, and they're mines that are made to maim you, and they're plastic, they're not metal, and they're tiny, which makes them hard to see, and they're fired from artillery, and they disperse from the air, and they're dropped, and they camouflage in the grass and whatnot. Very, very evil things. Being spread on the civilian population, I might add, in the middle of a city of like 1.5 million people.
yeah. It's the
um,
worst.
for the last 8 years or so. But that's all
It's
Russian
literally the worst case
propaganda.
scenario.
That's all Russian propaganda, man. It's all like myths and lies by evil Putin. Putler, Putler.
Yeah, that the problem is that it seems like the collective West, like or I don't know what the hell they call it, the collective West has
Mhm.
made it to a point where they choose what lives are worth and what lives don't have worth. And they've
Mhm.
decided that the people of this area of the world, their life is worth nothing. And
Yeah.
you don't support a country by just saying support Ukraine. You support Ukraine by probably telling their government not to lay mines where their people live and lay mines where their ex or I mean like
Former
you know
people,
the
yeah.
yeah, I mean that's a big problem with the West, man. They choose whose life is worth saving, and
Mhm.
to me, it's a problem. As being someone who has been put in that position by my own government,
Mhm.
uh, I feel that it's wrong of us to have that power. And now, speaking freely, I think it's even scary to say that you disagree with that, and that's a problem too.
Yeah.
I fear that if I were to say that I didn't like it, somebody could hurt me, and that's fucking weird.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. No, we're living in very strange times. Very
Yeah.
strange times. This is a comedy channel. we
In the end,
we
it's pretty
promote
awful. It's
gallows
funny.
humors. We promote gallows humor here on the Working Brother, especially on Working Brother Talks, because like that's the only way I think we're gonna get past the YouTube, algorithms and whatnot. But the point is that yeah, we're living in a very weird time, somewhere between like George Orwell's 1984 or Aldous Huxley's Brave New World and you know, The
Yeah, it
Matrix.
feels like a brave new world. Just watching from the top as
Mm,
people are choosing uh, the people on top just looking down on these savages, but they made the savages themselves. They're making savages of these people. They're making basically animals of both sides. Um, because it's unfortunate when what's happening right now, I have to say, is unfortunate. These
mhm.
two countries that are are in a conflict are up until like I don't know when the hell they separated. They're basically the same people.
91,
And
if I'm not mistaken.
there you go, 1991. And some people who are born in Ukraine, just say like 1992, they have no idea of how it was before. So when they see this now, they're so easily brainwashed. They can take everything in. You can mold these next generations. I think that's what's happening. It's a it's a big
I
ass
don't know.
brainwash fest.
I don't know how much you know about the CIA involvement, considering like this channel
Nothing.
is probably going to get deleted. We can go into deep into conspiracy theories. This is Russian propaganda, conspiracy theories, blah blah. But the point is, as early as the late 50s, like 1958, the CIA was already promoting inside the then Soviet Ukraine nationalist, Banderite, neo-Nazi regimes. Like just FYI, throwing that out there. you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
It's something
yeah.
that we seem to do, but honestly,
I,
it's getting pretty scary.
you asked me also about my visit and trip down. I'm gonna play a little video.
Yeah,
This
please do.
is a little montage that I made while I was on the road. One day I spent the day with humanitarians, basically Narodna Diplomatia, which means the people's diplomacy, and they're a Moscow-based humanitarian organization that like basically goes down to the Donbass and Donetsk primarily and the surrounding villages, and they buy clothes and food and stuff like that. And if people donate clothes and so on, they also take like those kind of donations, and they distribute it to like senior citizens who've been left homeless from Ukrainian shelling. Which like just like that one sentence is crazy enough, you know what I mean? And then there's also this the fact like that was their warehouse. It had also had direct hits, and like that day we went to like some neighborhoods where we were 2 kilometers from the front, and you could smell gunpowder in the air thicker than I've smelt at like shooting ranges. See, this is like one of the packages that we gave out that day. We went to around 8 addresses, and like one of them, the last video, you're gonna see like this portly guy, and like some of the smart ass commenters were like, "Oh, why does he need donations if he's so portly?" And the truth is that he's the nurse, and it's a pensioner who lost a leg that he's taking the stuff for inside a hospital. This couple that we just saw had their house totally destroyed, and they both survived with like scratches basically, and the roof caved in, and like they were standing 2 meters apart from each other when the roof caved in on top of them, but like they survived without scratches, but the house is totally gone, and their like grandchildren were unscathed as well. So like yeah, there's a lot of miracle stuff going on. There's a like it's definitely like conflict on a different level. Let's put it that way.
I mean, they're though what those people have endured is I wouldn't want that on any other people, and I wish those people the best. I'm really thankful for you for going. To be honest, anybody who goes to a place like that and puts in the time, I know the price of time, and just being there and showing those people that there's someone in the world that cares. It's a beautiful thing, man, and I
I was
appreciate you.
lucky because I'm Serbian, so I can get into Russia without a visa for a month, you know. And
Hmm.
on top of that, like Serbs have are in fa have what's the term? Like have a good name or like are in
They're in
like
good
people
favors with
people
the Russians. I know here in Russia where
no
I
no
live, where we
not only Russians, but the people specifically of the Donbass. You know, 'cause like there's been Serbs on their side for a long time. Let's put it that way.
oh, okay.
And actually, if you go historically, parts of the Donbass, like Novosibirsk and no, sorry, Novosibirsk, sorry, not
Yeah.
Novosibirsk, Seversk or and Novoserbsk, I think it's called, like north of Bahmut. And Bahmut itself were an oblast, an area in like a long time ago Russia, like 1600s, I think Russia. Could be 1700s, but don't quote me. Check it. But the point is that there were oblasts that were defended on the edge of the Russian then empire, and they were manned and populated by Serbians who had migrated back then to Russia,
Hmm.
and the Tsar then gave them that oblast because of their fighting prowess. So they historically there's a historical connection between Serbia and the Donbass and Russia. You know what I mean?
Very
So
cool.
yeah, generally speaking, I was lucky. I was lucky that I had the chance to go there. Another one of the topics that you mentioned before you wanted to discuss was how easy it was for you to move to Russia. Do you want to take it away with a little bit of a dive into that?
Yeah, as an American, you can get a multi-entry visa for 3 years, which basically lets you stay up to 6 months in Russia. And if you want to come to Russia, I mean, there's a lot of propaganda out there that says don't do it because it's not safe. But I've lived here almost a year. I've had no problems with the like politics. I haven't been bothered by police. I haven't been bothered by the Russian people themselves. So I would advise people to come visit it if it's your dream.
How much does Putin pay you to say that?
Man, I wish I got paid to tell the truth.
Yeah, don't we all? But
It's you don't get paid to get tell the truth anymore. It's only lies that you get paid for.
yeah, yeah. But no, seriously speaking though, even though it sounds like Russian propaganda, I tell people that I felt safer in Moscow than I felt in any other city that I've been to, basically, and they're all like, no, but Russia is evil. But yeah, you've lived there for what now? Like you said, 10
10
months
months.
almost? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's safer here. 100%.
And how about expenses? Compared to living in California. Do you rent there
Oh,
or
expensive. Yeah, I rent. This building that I'm in is
mhm,
$230, no, $320 a month.
mhm.
That's fairly cheap. Cost of food is very cheap. I mean, you're paying $400 maximum for electricity, water, internet, your phone, your apartment.
Yeah.
It's a good life.
And do you work other than the YouTubing?
No, I saved up money before I came.
Yeah, oh nice, excellent. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
living here off savings.
that's the way to do it. Nice, nice. Um, what was I gonna touch upon? Oh yeah, we were talking offline about your military experience and how you were saying that there's something wrong in the commanding of the
Yeah.
Ukrainian side of this conflict and
Yes, I just
your
noticed things that,
opinion on
sorry.
trenches. Go on, yeah, yeah, go on, go on. Your opinion on
To
trenches.
me, a lot of these big YouTube pages who want to talk about how well Ukraine holds and how they have a mixed interpretation. See, they're looking at it as how long they can hold and how well they can hold. They're not seeing how many casualties they're taking and how much men they're putting into those trenches and into these big fortification cities like Bakhmut and Mariupol. And by design, the way they are fighting, they're being basically led to lose because you don't win by only defending and you don't
Mm-hmm.
win by defending positions that are bound to be overtaken by an artillery force.
Yeah, yeah. So what you're saying is that somebody on that side, let's say the Ukrainian side, to not call it NATO,
Mhm.
um, comedy channel, remember?
Yeah, we do it
um,
for the lulz.
right. Um, no, but seriously speaking, the Ukrainian side you're saying has a problem with their command. Basically, you're saying that it looks from your perspective. You were what rank to
I
remind the
became a
viewers?
sergeant. I came out of the military as a sergeant of Marines. I led men into fights. I fought in trenches myself. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but the Taliban would use trenches and go back and go back. So they would peel. They would never commit to staying in a trench. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, they don't have the biggest guns they have are AK-47s, Dishkas 50 cals, and they have mortars. So when you're
Mm-hmm.
fighting in trenches, they're not as sophisticated as the Ukrainians as far as weaponry, but they're more intelligent. They don't sit in their trench. Okay,
Yeah.
the last thing you want to do is be against a power that has artillery sitting in a trench, which is what Russia is. It
Yeah.
just doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody's leading these men to die.
Yeah, I played
100%.
Command and Conquer as well. You know Command and Conquer, the game from like long,
I,
long time ago?
I don't know the game, but it's very, very
Oh,
basic.
yeah.
These
You
what they're
probably
doing.
played it in real life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, there is something definitely wrong. And the point you made about holding territory by losing men and not reporting the amount of men lost, or even not territory but holding trenches and you know
Yeah,
points
it's
of defense is a little silly
to
and
me
wasteful.
to me it's very, very it's a bad use it's a bad way of using human life. For the pro-Ukrainians, if there's any who end up watching this, you have to understand that from someone like me who's in the middle, who has been through combat, I feel
Hmm.
so bad for when Ukrainians die. Of course, I feel
Yeah,
bad for Russian too, but it's worse when you know for a fact
that they've been
that these,
forced. Yeah.
yeah, by now I call them a little bit of idiots.
Hmm.
Sorry, but this is my opinion. Because
Hmm.
if I was fighting a Taliban and he stayed in his trench, I would be like, wow, you idiot. You made a mistake today and I killed you. This is my
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is that like at the beginning when it started the special military operation and when there were a lot more let's say thicker concentrations of Nazis within the Ukrainian forces. Um, when you'd see the videos, I wouldn't feel that bad. But when you see like the videos of the 60-year-olds and 50-year-olds that don't have the ideological stance, and that they're been forced into their positions, and to, like you say, to like uselessly wait for death, you can't help but feel sorry for the humanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And it's
understand that.
tragic. It's tragic, man. It's tragic.
It's a good point
I
that you
don't.
say that. I think that's what I mean by when I feel bad for them. I'm talking about those guys
Yeah.
because they are just throwing bodies, and I am 100% sure that there's uh, the naughty people too. But
No, no Germans. No, no Ukrainians. Naughty
yeah,
people. Yeah.
those
Yeah.
naughty people.
Um. What else can I tell you? Thank you for coming on. This was an impromptu little connect. Thanks to Wyatt again for connecting us, and to what was it? Survival Russia, who pointed out your channel originally.
Yeah.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Helps the channel. Check out his channel, Wild
But more
Siberia.
importantly, you have to subscribe to Working Brother. This is actually a very good thing to just talk things out and see
Yeah,
different
man.
opinions. And I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you for coming on. Looking forward to our next stop. Is there anything you want to tell people about the outcome that you expect, or like something to like sign off with?
Well, I just want to sign off with I think you shouldn't hate people just because of, from personal experience, just because I'm American, I'm living in Russia, and I have these views. I don't think you should become psychopaths about it. So take care of your brains, people. That's it.
That is good advice. That is good advice. All right, let's take it out with some music. Thank you for coming on, Dan.
All right,
Everybody,
later, guys.
peace out.